Maybe they are, taking a cue from the playbook and they're setting boundaries of their own. It does appear that that is what they're doing by removing themselves from that hustle, the bustle, all of that direct pressure would be really appropriate boundaries. That over time is going to get overwhelming.
We don't know, like I said, what goes on behind those closed doors, and it's all speculation. But is it ever healthy to isolate yourself so much from your family? I mean, both sides. I mean, she only has a relationship with her mother. He doesn't seem to have any sort of only really a relationship with his grandmother. So is it really healthy to kind of isolate yourself and, put yourself in this little bubble?
Well, and depending on the toxicity going on within their family unit, then absolutely, there could certainly be reasons that is actually the healthier choice. We don't know how the family is treating them. There's a lot of those rumors and speculations about the comparisons to Kate and William and what is that doing to them. And so if they are feeling these pressures or they feel like their boundaries are being consistently violated, then absolutely removing themselves from that big picture, regardless if it's their family or not, if that is ultimately what's best for their mental health, if that's what helps to decrease, any symptoms of anxiety, depression, and helps them feel safe, then at the end of the day, that's the choice that gets made. And then hopefully they are making their own family somewhere else. They're building their own social connections elsewhere.
And then on top of all this, they have 2 little ones as well. I mean, I can't imagine the stress.
I can't either. I know. And I really do feel for them, because when I think about it with my clients I sit with who are dealing with maybe the family isolation or maybe the 2 little kids, these isolated events, but they're dealing with all of it. So I can't even imagine the toll that would take.
Right. And like you said before, even comparisons with his brother and his wife, they are like the poster child of relationships, of royal relationships. Everybody loves William and Kate. And at one point that was Harry and Meghan. Everybody was obsessed with them and, and how far they have fallen in the public eye. How hard is that to have those comparisons within the family too?
Absolutely. And we've seen that really going on for Harry for years and years, since he was a teenager, right? Yes. His behaviors versus William's. And so we've seen that going on, and it can certainly take a toll on the self-esteem, on their core beliefs. Overall, their functioning in general is going to be impacted by those comparisons. And so I think that potentially, as much as they've fallen in the public eye, potentially they are the ones being healthy. Potentially they are the ones setting boundaries, and they're protecting themselves and their children. And because we don't know all the background information, we only see what we see. But there's a good chance they're actually the ones that are showing up for their own mental health.
That's true. That is true. And I mean, what we see about William and Kate in the public eye as well, what do you kind of make of their relationship?
I think that that's difficult, because I think that they were put on a pedestal so early on, and that is just the roles that were established for them. I really do feel for both of them in that way, because you can tell that they try to live up to that expectation. And so it's almost, and I certainly can't speak for them, it appears like this sense of powerlessness or this trappedness in that role. And so maybe they have even some envy for the way that Harry and Meghan are able to live their lives, right? Because they were given this expectation of, be this role model, be perfect in the public eye, and they've lived up to it. But I would imagine that would be a whole lot of pressure.
Oh yeah. I mean, if one slip up can change your entire public persona, public dynamic, and things like that. So yes, they have to be on their best behavior at all times.
So stressful.
So stressful. And maybe, that's why, because they are moving outside of Kensington Palace. They're moving to have a more quiet, normal life in Windsor. Do you think that may be a reason why, is to kind of release some of that pressure?
And that would absolutely make sense. Maybe they are, taking a cue from the playbook and they're setting boundaries of their own. It does appear that that is what they're doing by removing themselves from that hustle, the bustle, all of that direct pressure would be really appropriate boundaries. That over time is going to get overwhelming. It's going to wear on the nervous system, on your quality of life. And so I'm actually really happy for them that they are taking that step back.
Definitely. For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below, and visit usmagazine.com.